Hi, this is Kiki Fox here at the Northeast Film Festival. I'm here with Debbie Markowitz, director, writer, producer of The Waiting Room. How are you doing, Debbie?
I'm doing great. Thank you. I'm so happy to be back here at the Northeast Film Festival. I love this.
Happy to have you here. So this is not your first year.
No, this is actually my third year. Not in a row, but I've had 3 of my films here. I've had The Last Taxi Driver, I've had Leaving, and I've had By Blood, and now, well, actually my 4th film now. I have The Waiting Room here.
Wow, that's awesome. So tell us a little bit about The Waiting Room.
Okay, well, The Waiting Room was a 72-hour challenge, and basically it's about a woman who is waiting for her husband to come up into heaven, but when he comes up with his second wife.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so there's a confrontation. It's kind of sad. It's kind of, people told me they were crying, but it's also kind of funny at the same time.
So there's a little bit of drama, a little bit of comedy mixed in, comedic relief.
Exactly,
Awesome.
exactly.
Very cool. And what gave you the idea for this film?
Well, I was approached by Jennifer Giles, who's an actress, and she had asked me if I would direct the challenge for her. So I'd asked her if she had a script, and she didn't, so I wrote it in about 2 hours. And she had a couple of actors that she wanted to bring in with her, so one had to drop out, and I said, all right, well, I'll do this if I can bring in 2 of my actor friends. And so I just kind of put all the pictures together and said, all right, who would they be to each other? And so then I came up with the wife and the second wife, and the angel with an attitude problem, and the angel who's and kind of just wrote the story from there.
That's really cool. So 72 hours. Have you ever done a challenge like this before? Was this your first time taking a stab at it?
Yeah, this is the first time and probably my last.
I was just going to ask you if you would do it again.
I don't know. It was very difficult because we shot it in one day. I think it was about 10 hours. Everybody was amazing. They fought the snow to come out and film this in the middle of January. And but at the same time, so we shot it one day because we only had the money to shoot for one day, even though we could have shot it over 2. But we had to score it and send the sound files. And because there really wasn't a lot of money, and my composer was over in Italy, and my sound guy was out in Pennsylvania, so I'm waiting for everybody to transfer files, and I'm up in the middle of the night going, did I transfer them yet? What does it look like? And so I had to kind of keep waking up to see if everything was ready and start approving it to move on or tell them what changes I wanted. It was exhausting.
That sounds crazy. Was there I'm sure with a 72-hour film challenge there are a lot of challenges. That's probably why they call it that, but was there one that was just one challenge that really stood out that you had to overcome?
I think really it was the time, but it also somebody had come out of the woodwork who had wanted to work with me and said he would score it for free, and he's done dozens of films. And so when he did the first score, I looked at him like, oh my God, this isn't at all what I want. It just was so far from what I wanted, and I had to fire him in the middle of it and then find somebody, which I really didn't want to do because I'm sure given time, yeah, it is a big thing. It is a big thing because I'm sure given time I could have got, but there wasn't time. So I contacted a composer from Italy who I'd worked with before, who was just getting up, and it was the middle of the night here or whatever it was, and I said, Eros, can you do me a favor? I only have this amount of money, which was almost nothing, and I said, can you score this by tonight? And he went, sure. And he did, and it was almost perfect. In fact, I think it was perfect.
It was meant to be.
He got it. It's like if you could have this could have been a much more depressing film, but I really didn't want it to be depressing, even though people cry. So you had to really get me, and you really had to get the film, and he got it.
Well, sometimes things like that happen for a reason,
Yeah. I'm going to try and work with this gentleman on something else, that's not time limited like that. So,
exactly.
Yeah. So I really think it was just the time thing, and oh my God, how do I fire someone? I don't want to fire somebody who's really nice.
Had you ever done that before?
I don't think I've ever retired. I don't think I've ever fired somebody before.
I'd imagine it'd be really hard.
Yeah, and it was more like, I don't even want to say necessarily fired, put off to the next job kind of thing.
I was just going to say, that's a nice way to put it.
Yeah, I've never had to, because I'm very careful about the people I work with. I did have, way back there was somebody who was kind of annoying, and I basically sat him down and said, chill. Because we'll get through this, but nobody's going to work with you if you're a jerk. Stop it,
Totally. And in a creative world like filmmaking, creative personalities really have to mesh well, because definitely when you have 2 big personalities or conflicting personalities in some way, it can make it really hard.
Right. And they need to understand. Most of the people I worked with, I've made 7 or 8 movies so far, but most of the people are great. And every now and then, people have to know you're the director, and maybe you have great ideas, and I'm always open to collaborating with my actors, and I'm always, but they have to understand I make the decision,
Right.
and you have to trust me that maybe you think you have a better idea, and maybe it is, and then I'll take it. But if I feel it's not, you have to trust me to know what I'm doing. So,
It's your vision.
yeah. So there actually was one other person that kind of, I don't want to get too much into it, but they had a different idea than I did, and and I kept saying, okay, well, I'm going to try this, and they're like, well, it won't work. I said, okay, we'll try it, and if it doesn't work, you'll be right. But I want to try, and I really had a fight with the person. I'm like, I will replace you right now, and then they backed it. It's like, do you understand that I'm trying to be nice, and I understand what you're saying, but this doesn't work, and we have to find it works, and we did,
And it did work out. It worked out for the best it seemed.
the way I wanted it. Yes.
Good. Well, can't wait to see it. Can't wait to see the waiting room. Thank you so much, Debbie. Thanks.
Thank you.